recruit for. There we go. We're going to hit record. Sorry. We only typically recruit for roles around advising. So your financial and your wealth advisors. We recruit power planners, administrators, and ops managers. So if you think of any role within a financial planning business, that's where we sit and that's where we can help. So moving on, that's Anthony George. Recently, you might have seen some press and some news and some branding update on some of our WhatsApp communities and on socials, but we have launched the Financial Planning Club. And this is aimed to connect, empower and elevate not only business owners, but individuals like yourself with supporting you with knowledge, resources, really to influence and elevate your careers and businesses to new heights. So that is very exciting. That's very new. We've done a soft launch on this and the main launch is going to be going out over the next few weeks. So watch out for that. We've got some really cool content coming out to help you all. How that benefits you guys and girls. For individuals, we've got 5 boutique exclusive WhatsApp communities, which is in relation to the job roles that we recruit. So we've got an individual one for financial advisors, mortgage advisors, power planners, administrators, and ops managers. And it's all about collaboration. We wanted to create a bit of an environment where people can ask for support outside of the 4 walls of their business. We've also got exclusive study groups as well. So we understand that some people are on different journeys within their career. Some people may be studying some advanced exams. Some people might be studying through the CISI. And we've got bespoke study groups so people can buddy together. Everybody's going through the same exam at the same time. So why not create an environment where everyone can help? So that's really cool as well. Obviously, webinars. We do run a variety of different webinars. We've got access to study material for you as well. And we do have exclusive discounts. So that's a bit about Anthony George. That's the Financial Planning Club. So let's move on to what we're all here for. And today we're going to be covering some essential tips and strategies to help you make a great first impression, because that is so important, and to ideally secure your desired job. It's crucial that we get this part right. This is the first time that an employer is going to review your credentials. They'll be evaluating not only your career and your experience, but how you present yourself. This is the first time that they see your background and your CV and potentially what you are bringing to the organization. They are going to be looking over punctuation. They are going to be looking over grammar. There's enough AI out there now for you to run your CV through a couple of different systems and a couple of different AI platforms that can highlight any spelling mistakes. It can highlight any grammatical issues. So use AI to your advantage here, guys. Run your CV through this software. I've based this whole webinar around as if I was a power planner and I was recruiting for a power planner vacancy. So bear that in mind. But everything is very transferable. So if I was a power planner, I'm applying for a technical role, which does involve me conducting research and writing technical reports. So my grammar and my punctuation in my CV has to be tip top, because if an employer is looking at me to come in and write some reports for their clients, then I need to make sure that I can present those well. All right. So let's get into this. So the session overview, topics that we are going to be covering 3 main areas. Those 3 areas are interview preparation tips. All right. So we're going to give you everything that you need to do in order to prepare for your interview. We are going to talk to you about how to write a winning CV, and I'm going to break that down section by section. And we are also going to be giving you some interview questions to ask. Each of these components is crucial for your career success. Proper preparation can set you apart from other candidates and help you land your dream job. So take time to really get into the nitty-gritty part of this. We're going to send you over a full document after, because I'd love to tell you every step of the recruitment process. However, there's just not enough hours in a day, but I'm going to give you a really good document that will summarize what you should be doing, how to present yourself, and questions that are going to be asked during your interview process as well. So starting off on the interview preparation, the most important thing that you need to do is you need to research the company that you are recruiting for. All right. So if you're interviewing at a particular firm, the most important thing I would suggest you do is find out every single thing you can about that organization. There are so many resources for you to do this. You can look through the company website. You can look on LinkedIn. LinkedIn's a great place. Not everybody is on LinkedIn, but LinkedIn is a really cool place to look at current employees. You can also look at the company page, have a look at their branding, have a look at the kinds of posts and the content that they're sharing as well. Or even better, if it is a financial services organization you are recruiting for, interviewing with, have a look at the FCA register. Every authorized firm at the bottom of the website, you'll see their FRN number, which is a unique number referencing that organization. If you look on the FCA register, there will be a section where you can either put in the name or the reference number. And obviously we'll tick firm here because we're looking at a firm, not an individual, but you'll tick firm, put in the company name or put in their FRN number, and that will bring up all of that organization's authorized personnel. So we can now find out who the directors are, who's responsible for compliance, AML, money laundering, and we can also see who the advisors are as well. So if not everybody is displayed on the website, if everybody's not displayed on LinkedIn, they are most definitely present on the FCA register for regulatory reasons. The only people that are not going to be on the FCA register are your back office support staff. All right, so that's your administrators, your power planners, and your ops managers. Anybody that is not client facing or who is not giving advice or involved in the financial planning sign-off procedure, whatever that may be, they will not be on the FCA register. What is important to remember here, you're doing your research on them and you best believe a potential hiring manager or a potential organization, they are absolutely doing their research on you. We do it as soon as we get an application. If we're recruiting internally, as soon as we get a CV or an application, the first thing we do is we jump on social media. I'm looking on Instagram, I'm looking on Facebook, I'm looking on Twitter, X, whatever it's called these days. I'm looking at all social media platforms because I want to see what you're like as a person, not just what's on your CV. So rest assured, everybody's doing that, all right? Everybody's to a certain extent visible online. So do think about your personal social media platforms and what you'd like a potential employer to see if they come across your page. So that's important. Second tip I would recommend is that you make sure you know who you are seeing and their job title. If you don't know it, ask your recruiter or ask the person that arranged the interview for you to find out who it is you are meeting. Why that's important? You need to know who they are, you need to know their background, and you need to build rapport with that person. This is also a really good leading point as well, because you can ask them questions. Why did you join the company? What's making you start this organization? What do you love about working here? This isn't just a one-way interview. It's about you interviewing the hiring manager as well and find out what makes them love the organization that they work for. And it's a really good rapport building exercise as well. And it just shows that you are really interested in the role. So that's a really, really cool tip. The third tip on the research in the company is prepare a short speech of maybe 4 to 6 points on what you know about that organization. That can include what you found on the website, on LinkedIn, on the FCA register. Combine that, you now know how many advisors that they've got. You might be able to find out how many employees they've got, what year that they were incorporated in, what awards have they won, what the size of firm is overall, whether they're directly authorized, whether they're appointed representatives, whatever it may be. Just prepare a little short speech in regards to the information you have gathered, because no two ways, I can guarantee you at some point during your interview, you'll be asked the all famous question, what do you know about us? Or what would you like to know about us? And at this point, this is where you reel off what you do know, because that shows that you are committed, that you have done research, and that you are genuinely interested in this company, and you're not just specking your CV and attending every single interview. So really make it personable and really make them, you've got to do a bit of ego rubbing, right? So you've got to make sure that they think, wow, this candidate really knows about our organization, the size. And when they ask you that question, what do you know about us? You've got all the ammunition there because you've done your research. If they ask a question, what would you like to know about us? Start with, well, this is what I do know, but what I don't know is this. Can you please explain this part of it? It's all really, really good and valuable stuff there. So again, if anybody's got any questions about anything at any point during any of these slides, feel free just to drop some questions over and we'll pause on that slide and we'll answer as many as we can. But look, let's keep going. The next part that I recommend is absolutely interview categories. Typically, your interview will fall into four main categories. Those categories will be your employment history, which is an obvious one. What do you know about the role that they're looking to fill? Again, this fizzles out the people that are just sending CVs anywhere, or people that are just giving their CVs to recruiters and letting the recruiter do the work. And sometimes I don't even know why I'm here. I've just been booked in an appointment or booked an interview. We've got to cut that out. You've got to understand and you've got to know about the role that they're looking to fill. Why you feel you will be good for the job, you're going to pretty much guaranteed to be asked that question during your interview process. Why do you feel you'd be a good fit for our organisation, or why do you think you'd be a good fit for this job? So again, it's a very important question and category that you need to know the answers to. Lastly, why do you want this job? I think that's a very important question. It will give the hiring manager a lot of clarity as to why you're sitting in front of them today. But preparing answers for each of these categories demonstrates your readiness and confidence. This preparation will help you articulate your thoughts clearly during the interview. If you go in there absolutely blind, you're going to be stumbling at some of these questions. And like I said, the document that I'm going to send over will elaborate on a lot of these and give you a lot more information as well. But just for time purposes, I'm going to sort of just nip it in the bud at those four main categories that are pretty much guaranteed to come up at every single interview. All right, so we now know the categories. I think let's start looking at some of the top questions that you're typically asked. And I know they're typically asked because we ask the hiring managers, what are you going to ask our candidates? And we also ask the same questions when we're recruiting internally. So they are important questions. So some of the questions that you're most likely to be asked always starts with the famous, tell me about yourself. We've all been there, we've all seen it, we've all heard it. Tell me about yourself. Now, don't just focus on work here. They want to know about you personally. Talk about your background, your history, your education, your family, your hobbies. Just tell them about yourself. Don't waffle on. Don't bore the hirer as such, but don't waffle on. Keep your points clear and concise. Be really positive. Just be positive and just prepare that answer. If you don't prepare that answer, if you sit in front of somebody and they say, tell me about yourself, you're going to feel a little bit negative about that question because you almost don't like talking about yourself. Not many people actually like talking about themselves in a positive way. There are the exception. Obviously, some people do love talking about themselves, but not many people do. So take a subconscious effort to plan the answer out to this question, because everybody wants to know about you. When you're interviewing any vacancy for any firm, tell me about yourself. It's going to be one of the opening questions. So prepare everything off. All right. Talk to me through your career choices today. If that doesn't come up, I'll be absolutely surprised. People want to know about your background. So cover everything off from your route after education to where you are now. Cover off the motives behind moving for every single job, the reasons why you left that firm. And do me a huge favor, never mention it was for more money. All right, that could have been the reason why you left that last organization. But don't ever say, I was offered more money, so I moved. Reason why, you're going to give that hirer cold feet. They're going to start getting hesitations around the longevity of this hire. They want to know you're in it for the long term. They don't want to have concerns thinking, well, look, 6 months, 12 months, 2 years down the line, if they're approached by another firm or, dangled a great salary by another recruiter, are they just going to up shop and leave? So really do think about the answer to that question. Give valid reasons as to why you left that organization, and don't just say it was for money. All right, that's a top tip because we've had that recently, so that's quite fresh, and that's why I wanted to bring it up. But try to focus on the relevant experience for the role that you're recruiting for as well. All right, so a couple of key points there, which I think is really important. What have been your key achievements in life so far? Again, focus on real standout points in your life, if you like. It doesn't necessarily have to be work related. That could be purchasing your first house. It could be getting married. It could be having a family. It could be creating something. It could be that you've implemented a new process into an organization that's really sorted out a workflow, really processed and streamlined a part of their business, and you're really proud of that. So whatever you're really proud of, and it hasn't got to be work related, but whatever your key achievements are in your life so far, just make sure you're making note of that, and then you've got good ammunition to go back at them with that question. So that's really good. Finally, I'm guaranteed you've all heard this one. What are your main strengths and what is your greatest weakness? It's a bit of a stinker, this question. Nobody likes it. Main strengths is fantastic, but people get a little bit hesitant over discussing their weaknesses. And I say you shouldn't be. And the reason why I say that is any decent organization will always look at all the positives and look at your weaknesses. And when I say positive, I say your strengths. Any weakness that you have, they should be implementing development plans to really support you and turn that weakness into a greatness, right? So any weakness, don't see that as a negative, bringing that up in your interview. Almost, this is my weakness and this is what I'm doing, or this is what I want to do, and this is how I want to, bridge that gap and turn that weakness into a strength. So do not be afraid of telling people your weakness. It's absolutely nonsense that people haven't got a weakness. We've all got weaknesses. We've all got our strengths, and you have to really know what those are as well. All right. So some key points there on the categories and top questions. And like I said, there is more info to follow up on that. All right. Next part of the webinar is we're going to talk about the CV presentation and a typical format that is easy to read, but also gets all of your points across. All right. And that would look something similar to this. We are going to send you out a blank copy of this sample CV with some ideas for you to start filling this out. The last thing you want as a candidate, and the last thing a hiring manager wants to see, is a CV that spans over 6, 7, 8 pages, because nobody has time for that. Yes, you might have had loads of jobs. Yes, you might have so much career and so much experience, and you want to get it all down on paper. But sometimes we do have to summarize some part of our CV. We always say, look, maximum 3, 4 pages is roughly where you need a CV to be. Don't think making your font smaller will bring the pages down. So it just makes it even harder to read. We like big writing. We like it easy to read. So just think about your format, your layout, your font, and how you really want to present yourself. Because spanning back to what I said at the very beginning, this is the first time that somebody is going to see your credentials. And we have to get this bit right. And just like every CV, 9 times out of 10, at the very top, you're going to see your personal statement, your introduction. Being the first thing that an employer reads, it should be a strong indication as to who you are. Included in that introduction, you also want, bear with, something has gone wrong with, there we go, highlighting key strengths as well. Other way. We're going to be tailoring our introduction to the job. That's really important as well. Differentiation, you always want to be a little bit different to others. And in your introduction, try setting or mentioning some of your career goals. As I said, I've put this together as if I was a power planner going forward for a power planning vacancy. So if I put all of that together and I wanted a really good personal statement, I personally would have something like this. So name clearly at the top, address. People have a mixed opinion on whether they want their address on it. For us, we'd always recommend putting your address on it or part of your address on it. And then the hiring manager can assess whether A, if it's a remote based role, it doesn't matter, but B, the commute, what that commute's going to be like. Numbers and email address on there as well. So a personal statement. I'm a highly skilled and dedicated power planner with over 6 years of experience in financial services. So first sentence, I've nailed who I am and what I'm doing and how long I've done it for. All right. Some people on here might want to put, I'm a career power planner. So that shows a bit more longevity in the job role that you're doing, but nip it in the bud. I'm a skilled and dedicated power planner, over 6 years of experience in the financial services industry. My extensive background includes working with both independent financial advisors and restricted practices. providing holistic support to high net worth clients. So that now tells me the type of person that I've been working with, whether they're holistic, whole of market, independent advisors, or whether they're restricted or tied advisors. I've worked with both. All right. I'm known for my exceptional organizational skills, and I have a keen attention to detail, which is pivotal for a power planning role. I thrive under pressure and consistently deliver high quality results. I have a proven track record of successfully managing complex cases involving investments, pensions, tax planning, estate planning, IHT, VCT, EIT, whatever that may be. Final little statement, I'm going to talk about my CPD, my commitment to learning. So I'm committed to continuous learning and development, currently advancing my expertise through additional certifications and training. I'm passionate about client relations. I excel in building strong relationships and ensure clients receive the best possible service tailored to their unique needs. That to us is a pretty powerful personal statement. I've covered off so much on that. I've covered off how many years I've been doing it, the type of advisor that I've been working with, the areas of advice that I've got experience with. I've told them how I work. I know I work well under pressure. I'm very organized, but most, I'm really interested in client relationships, and I want what is best for the client. So that just ticks so many boxes for so many people. And look, that is going to be different. I'm not saying copy paste and use this personal statement. It's going to get you through life. But these are some of the key points that we mentioned on our last slide, just about having the key strengths, tailoring it to the job. I'm a power planner. I've been doing it 6 years. These are the advisors that I'm working to. Differentiation, I'm mentioning my career goals, all within my personal statement. All right. So really, really important that you nail that first part of your CV. Moving on, typically after your personal statement under a CV, we will see the skills. The skills section, again, to us and to anybody looking at your CV, is quite important. Listing your skills clearly demonstrates how quickly you are able to contribute to the company. And that's what every hiring manager wants to see. How quickly can these guys or girls or these candidates hit the ground running? This section supports the claims made in your personal statement and shows your readiness to exactly do that, hit the ground running. So we've already told the interviewer how good we are, and now we're going to back this up as part of our evidence in our skills. All right. So typical skills for me as a power planner, I'm going to cover off the areas of advice that I have experience with. All right. So your pensions, your investments, your tax, your trust planning, whatever particular skill, whether you're in tech and there's certain IT software or certain things, Java developers, we hear all of this. It's not my sector, so I don't know too much about it. But on the opening line, I'd always say what advice areas that I've covered in this instance. Next thing I want to talk about tech. That's quite important because we all know the likes of Intelligent Office and Curo and everything else out there, and Naval and Xplan, everything is very different. And sometimes they can take a bit of time to get familiar with. So detailing the experience of your back office systems, the research tools, software, any kind of tech that you use day to day, get it on your skills, because again, anyone looking at that will look at that and say, well, he does pensions and investments. He can also use Intelligent Office and FE Analytics. This person can really slot in quite quickly. Platforms and providers, who are you using at the moment? Who else have you got familiar knowledge of? You know your way around their platform, the process. They're all just such good things to have on your skills. We're also going to cover off a bit of your duties. So, writing and researching, reports and whatever else, leading and training power planners and support staff. So if you've got any management or any leadership skills, get that on this part here, because again, if you are applying for a management role or a team leader role, you don't want them to get 10 minutes into reading your CV before finding out, oh, they can actually manage people, or, oh, they are actually a team leader. I'd be tailoring that in my personal statement at the top, that I've been a team leader of XYZ personnel, and I've been, progressing and developing and training and support them. Tailoring the job, tailoring your CV to the job you're applying for is so important to get that interest right away from the employer. So again, managing teams and collaborating with advisors. So that is a really key point of your CV, your skills, because in some cases, they might brush over the personal statement. They're definitely going to be reading your skills. All right, so we've got part of the first CV, the first part of your CV covered. The next part is absolutely going to be your duties and responsibilities. So highlighting your current responsibilities and duties is crucial because it provides a clear and detailed picture of your professional capabilities. And there's a few things I'll definitely mention that you should do when detailing your duties and responsibilities. Be specific. Use specific terms and action verbs to describe your duties clearly and concisely. You've mentioned it on your skills, but there is nothing wrong with bringing that back into your current duties. You know, I'm using IO every day, I'm using FE analytics, I'm supporting 6 power plants, whatever it may be. Those are your duties and responsibilities. There is nothing wrong with you bringing some of that information back into what you're doing day to day. Otherwise, it wouldn't be a skill, let's be honest. The next part is quantify when possible. Use numbers. How many people are you supporting? What type of cases? How many cases? Use numbers as possible. It just builds that credibility. It's really, really important to quantify when possible on your CV. I've already mentioned it once or twice. That's how important it is because it's going to get a third mention. Tailor it to the job. Please, please do this. You've all got the job spec. You've all got your CV. When you're looking at the duties of the job spec of the role that you're applying for, are they aligned? You know, can a hiring manager look at 2 and say, well, we're looking for this and they do that? Amazing. Let's get that person in. It's as simple as that. If they can see that you are doing the duties that they are looking for, why are they not going to invite you in? It's just so basic. It's so easy, right? So important, tailor to the job description. Showcase key achievements again. If you've successfully managed a team and you've supported that individual to get from A to B, have that down. You know, I help individuals within our organization from graduates to power planning or graduates to advising, whatever that may be, bring that into your duties and responsibilities 100%. So once we've created and we've got an idea, we'd like to lay it out in a really easy to read format, which can look a little bit like this. All right, so clear line, employment history. Job title is as clear as day. We've got our company name, who we work for. We've got the location of where we work. That's where we're working. That's not where we live. I could live in Essex, but the company I work for is in London. So I'd always put the location of the company that you're working for. Just underneath that, how many years I've been there. That's a very important part. Every employer likes to read that and know how long you've been at each of your jobs. It's just a common basic to have on your CV. And then we're going into your duties and responsibilities. So again, just bear in mind, I've written this from a power planner's perspective. I write technical reports and investment strategies, presentations for 3 advisors within the business. I've quantified, I've been very specific there. I support 3 advisors within the business. It's a number. Training and development, a team of 6 power planners, enhancing team efficiency and knowledge through training programs. Key achievements. I'm just including everything that I've mentioned in this. I'm really bulking out my duties and responsibilities here. Yeah, I could just write reports and investment strategies for advisors. That's great. Every power planner does that. But let's incorporate some numbers in here. Let's make it look really good to whoever's reading it. Basic, conducting fund research, reviewing investment propositions, cash flow modeling, utilized for most clients, including all of our high net worth individuals. Full financial reviews, performing calculations, ensuring obviously regulatory purposes, compliant manner, blah, 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 all the usual stuff on there. But take what you've got from this in terms of this part here, being specific, quantifying when possible, tailoring it to what you're looking for, and popping some key achievements in now. It's going to look so good to anybody looking at your CV. All right. Qualifications is next. So once we've gone through and we've got our personal statement, we've got our skills, we've outlined some of our employment history, we're always going to lean on now the qualification part of your CV. Detail as much as you can on here. Don't get people guessing. Has he got it? Hasn't she got it? Haven't they got it? Whatever it may be. This displays your knowledge. If you're working towards or studying something, mention it. If you want to achieve something, or there's something that you'd love to study in the future, mention it. Why not? We're not just looking at what you've got. What do you want? There's nothing wrong with putting what you want on your education or your qualifications. So let's take a look at what that looks like. It also shows, this part of your CV also shows your commitment to professional development and the desire to keep learning and growing. That's awesome, right? So again, fine line, cut this off, new part of my CV, education, college, school, whatever it is. This is the years that I've been doing it, whatever. This is the governing body. Now, when I put this together, it was great. When I was reviewing this again last night, I thought, damn it, I've made a mistake on my own CV. And I'll highlight that for you in a minute. So CII, I've done the level 3 certificate in power planning, level 4 diploma. What modules have I done? I've done RO1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's what's got me my RO4, my level 4 diploma. Level 6 advanced diploma in financial planning in progress, AF1. It shows that I'm studying AF1. It shows that I'm working towards my chartered level 6. Again, music to a lot of people's ears, all right? CMAP, there's your mistake. That's part of the LIBF, not CII. So we'll draw a line under that one. We'll put LIBF and we'll bring that down. Next one, CISI. That's a new governing body. Let's bring that down. Let's pull that out. Let's make it clear. When somebody looks at your CV, they go, oh, CII, LIBF, CISI. They can see where you're going in your career and who you're studying with, because not everybody sticks to one governing body. They do move around and have a look at other exams from other bodies. So don't be afraid to detail absolutely everything, but break that down. The reason why I'd say break that down as well, if you want to be noticed by recruiters, if your CV is on job boards, which I assume some of you might have your CV on job boards, we might be looking for something specific. I might be looking for somebody that has got the AF1 qualification or the AF4, 5, 6, whatever it may be. I might be looking for somebody that has at least 3 RO exams, and I might need them to be RO1, 2, and 3, or 4, 5, and 6, whatever that may be. Breaking it down like this, on the back end of any job board out there, yeah, it's great. You can apply for vacancies, but us as a recruiter, we get access to the CV library. I can look specifically for people that have RO1 within a postcode radius of my search. So that is so important that if you want to be found by recruiters, or if you want to make it a lot easier to be recognized for a job, really break out what you're studying so we can pick up on these keywords and we can find it. I can find this CV by writing in Chartered Insurance Institute. That is going to come up. That is on my CV. I'll also find this CV if I put in CII. A lot of us will just type in CII. LIBF, again, just make things really easy. Really think about your keywords, all right? Just really do think about your keywords. Conscious of time here, so I want to just kind of rattle this through a little bit more. But finally, on your CV, you need your hobbies, you need your interests. This is really good for aligning yourself with the culture of that organization. If I was looking at your CV and I thought, oh, yeah, great, this guy plays football, this girl plays football, whatever it may be, this person, you know, works out, they read books, they do this, they do that. A lot of us in our office, we do this, and it starts building that rapport already. It starts to show a well-rounded personality. Whatever you think, oh, I don't do any sports, I don't do anything, you know, some people are a little bit, oh, I'm boring like that. There is something that you do that interests you, whether that's gaming, whether that's knitting, whatever it is, whatever you're doing. Get your hobbies and interests down, because you're not the only person in the world doing that. So talk about it and be proud of your hobbies and interests. So that's your CV done from top to bottom. Some really good points in there. And like I said, the CV I'm displaying isn't perfect for everybody, but the basics, the fundamental basics of how you should be presenting your CV and what you should have in your CV is absolutely there. All right. So we've got a whole list of questions that we're going to provide you after the session. But for anybody that's in the financial planning world, or in particular, again, in power planning, you need to really think about your duties. What are you doing day to day? because they're the questions that you want to be asking during your interview process. When you sit in front of somebody and they say, do you have any questions for us? Don't ever say no, because there are questions. You've just not thought about them yet. You're not prepared for your interview. That almost disappoints a lot of hiring managers if you turn around and say, no, actually, I think you've answered all of them. It's rubbish. There are more questions that you need to be asking. Think about your current job and your day-to-day duties, the stuff you love. That stuff is not on a job spec. That's the stuff that you want to be finding out. So for me as a paraplanner, what is the current business setup in terms of paraplanners to advisors? Are we one-to-one? Are we a pooled resource? Are we working in a pod system? I want to know that. Last thing I want to do is turn up into an office and be put into an environment that I wasn't expecting. Oh, I thought I was going to be one-to-one with an advisor. Well, no, we all operate as a pooled resource here. So all the cases go to the manager, and the manager distributes that, depending on your workload. Well, that's not how I'm used to working. Whatever it may be, it's just an example. Are you involved in client meetings at the moment? Do you want to be involved in client meetings? That's not on a job spec. 9 times out of 10, it's not on your job specs, whether you're involved. We're looking for a client-facing paraplanner. No, nobody really says that on a job spec, but do you want to do that? Ask the question, will I be involved in client meetings? At what point is something handed over to me? As a paraplanner asking this question, I'm now going to find out if I'm going to be involved in any administrative duties, stuff that maybe I don't want to do, or stuff that I don't mind doing. It's an important question to ask. At what point is that case handed to me? All right. Because then I know when I'm going to pick up my skill set and start implementing stuff and moving forward. Will I be involved in both new business and annual review work? There's a lot of paraplanners. Paraplanning as a job title itself, there's so many different variations to this, right? But some paraplanners don't do research, they just write reports. Some paraplanners are only doing new business, not annual review work. Whatever it may be, you need to find out what you are walking into. What's wrong about asking about their investment proposition? Do they have a centralized investment proposition? Do they have an internal DFM? Ask about the investment proposition, because again, on a job spec, it doesn't say, oh, hi, our investment proposition is this. That's stuff that they don't talk about on a job spec. And that's stuff they're not going to probably willingly tell you unless you ask that question. But this all spans back to you knowing your stuff as an individual. You do your day-to-day job every single day. When you're applying for a role, make sure you're asking those questions, because you don't want any surprises. You don't want to be 3 months in thinking, wow, this isn't what I expected. I need to be looking at my options again. Platforms, providers, what are you using? Who are you going to? Is there support for me to work towards chartered or whatever you're working towards as an individual? Is there support for me? All right. Is there a clear development plan? Those that are looking to get into advice, those that are looking to get into power planning, those that are the administrators or whatever it may be, is there a clear development plan? Where can I be within this organization in the next 3 years? I'm knuckling down, I'm getting my diploma, that'll be done. Where can I be in the next 3 years? There's nothing wrong with asking these types of questions, all right? Again, as a power planner, are the reports templated or are they completely bespoke? If you're a power planner and you're creative and you love writing your own bespoke and putting your tables and your graphs and whatever else into that report, if all of a sudden you join an organization and then reports are now templated, they might have took all the fun out of your career. All right. So just be wary of that as well. So I hope I've covered off enough for you all to really think about your CV now, really prepare you for those interviews and got you thinking about the types of questions that you can be asking the hiring manager as well. All right. So that does sum up the crafting a CV and excelling at interviews. Please feel free to scan the QR code and connect with me on LinkedIn. Again, if you've got any questions, feel free to pop them in the chat box, or again, you can call myself on the number provided or send me an email. But it has been an absolute pleasure speaking with you all today, and no doubt we'll see you all on our next webinars in the future. Thank you very much for your time, everyone.